everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about the Stray Kids Dominate Tour and my experience at the Orlando stop, so let's just get into it. So first, I bought these tickets back in November when they went on pre-sale. I did get a code. I felt like their ticketing process was really easy for getting a pre-sale. I'm used to Hybe, where you have to get the membership and apply and all that stuff, but for the Stray Kids, I feel like I hit a link and they're like, bet you have pre-sale. So that was really cool. And I remember so many people being in front of me in the line, like when I went to buy the tickets. And Stray Kids isn't one of my like top groups, so I wasn't stressed about getting VIP or getting super close or anything. I just wanted tickets since they're gonna be near me and I do love them. For a little bit of background, I got into K-pop in 2019 with BTS, and Stray Kids was one of the groups that I stood early on in my K-pop journey, I guess you could say. So they are one of my first groups, and I do have a very deep love for them and their music, but I just kind of stopped following them as I got into other groups like TXT and ENHYPEN. But don't get me wrong, I love Stray Kids, and after the concert, it's really like rekindled my love for them and their music, so that's really cool. Since they weren't one of my top groups at the moment, I wasn't stressed about getting really close seats like some other people probably were. I felt like the ticketing process went really well. Fast forward months later, and we're finally at the concert day. I believe it was June 14th. I'm filming this like a little bit after, but it was June 14th. I woke up early to make sure I had plenty of time to get everything done. I had my normal breakfast, my normal morning routine. I got ready, I had lunch, and then I hit the road. I left at 12:30. I live in Tampa, so getting to Orlando is about 2 hours normally, but it took me almost 3 hours to get to Orlando for the Stray Kids concert. I don't know what was going on, but traffic was insane on the way there. It normally does not take me longer than 2 hours to get to Orlando. Maybe like a little after 2 hours, but not 3. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. So after sitting in the car for that long, I was exhausted and tired, but I was still very, very excited for the concert. I had picked out my outfit the week of. I had my little bag with a little fan and my battery charger and everything. I was set. I had my Han photo card with me, and I was ready to go. I was very, very excited leading up to the concert. And like I said before, they weren't one of my top groups, but I was so excited to see them in concert just because they used to be one of my top groups. And they were one of my first when I first got into K-pop. So I was just really excited to see them in concert. Plus, they're doing a stadium tour. So this was also my first stadium K-pop concert, and also my first stadium concert, I believe, in general. So that was a really cool experience. Would I do it again? It depends on the group, because it was really, really hot in Florida, and it's honestly really hot everywhere right now. I feel really bad for the DC stop because they just had their show not too long ago, but it got canceled a little over halfway through because of the extreme heat, and I feel awful. I would have been so upset, and I'm sure so many of them are really upset, but I know they made the right call because of how bad it was. And I know Atlanta had some problems with their venue as well, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me focus on Orlando. I parked in a parking garage in downtown Orlando that was about 10-15 minutes away from the venue, but the venue was actually having a shuttle that would pick up people in downtown Orlando and then take us to the actual venue so you don't have to walk. I think it was like a 45-minute walk, and I'm not doing that. So the shuttle was a really nice touch. I bought my pass in advance because I was really anxious about finding parking, but once I got to Orlando, I would have been fine. There was some surface parking that I could have parked at a little closer, but I went a little further down and did the parking garage just so it would be a little easier getting out of, or so I thought. And as I was going to the parking garage and driving on like the little strip in downtown Orlando, I was seeing so many stays and people walking towards the shuttle bus, and I could tell that they were going to the concert because they got their little clear bag and just based off of their outfits. The color scheme for the concert was red and black, so I too was wearing red and black, but I could see a lot of people were wearing red and black. I'm like, you're going to the concert. But anyways, I parked and I met up with some people and we walked to the shuttle together. The shuttle was really, really nice. I felt that Camping World Stadium was really organized and they handled themselves and the concert very, very well. I didn't feel like there were any issues with ticketing and getting into the arena that I experienced or saw. The shuttle was maybe like 10-ish minutes. I'm honestly not sure, but it was pretty short and it was air conditioned. Yep, it was one of those like nice charter buses. It was really, really nice. But we get to the venue and we get dropped off, and there are just a bunch of people. And I can't remember what time I got to the venue, maybe around 4 something, I want to say. I do not remember, but it was pretty early and it was packed. I'm talking just people everywhere. There's people in lines, there's people gathered in different groups, like just scattered around the arena. It was crazy busy. It was insane. So after we got there, my group and I were walking around trying to find our gates because Camping World has 6 gates, and based off of your ticket, it told you what gate you needed to go to. And we were in separate gates because we had different tickets. I had my ticket by myself, and they had their tickets together. And I think I was gate like E, and they were gate A. So we were trying to find both gates, and we were not having any success. We asked this one line, we're like, "Oh, what are you waiting for?" They're like, "Gate A," and then we go like a little further down, we're like, "What are you waiting for?" "Gate F." We're like, A and F. Like, why is A and F next to each other? We were really confused. So we ended up walking back and forth quite a few times trying to find where the hell we were supposed to go. But as we were doing that, we were picking up a lot of freebies because if you don't know, I'm sure most of you do, but at K-pop concerts, a lot of people will make freebies and kind of hand them out or exchange them. I love that aspect of the K-pop concerts. I feel like it's just such a nice community thing for everyone to do. And so that's what we were doing as we were walking up and down and trying to figure out where we were going to go, but we were getting lots of freebies, which was really super cool. And after walking around for a little bit in the burning hot sun, we're all kind of dying. So I'm like, let's just take a break, sit somewhere in the shade, regroup, and then figure out where we need to go. We still had plenty of time before the concert started, so let's just take a little break. So we did. We found this little spot in the shade under a tree. There were a bunch of people around us doing the same exact thing, and we sat down. I packed a sandwich for myself to eat before the concert, and thank God I did. That was probably one of the best ideas I've had for a K-pop concert because sometimes they're just so long and extreme that you don't find the time to eat. So I made the time to eat. That sandwich was delicious and it hit so hard because I was so hot and so hungry. So it was perfect. We took a little break. I ate my sandwich. They got more freebies and I relaxed as I ate and it was great. I also had my little fan so I could use that sometimes. And we regrouped, got back up, and went back out to find where we needed to go. Eventually, we ended up on the other side of the arena, which we should have done a lot sooner because that side was in the shade. Why were we in the sun for so long? I don't know. We were just trying to find out where to go when really we should have just went to the other side where the shade was. So once we got to the other side of the arena, it was nicer. We found gate A, but the staff were saying how you didn't need to be at the gate your ticket was telling you. You just needed to get in a line and get in. So we went in line together. I think we were at gate C, I want to say. It was kind of near the merch, I think. I honestly don't even know. There were so many people around and so much was happening. I do not know where everything was, but we entered in gate C. So we kind of ended up around that area and waited until they let us in. And then eventually we got in a line, hoping that it was the line to get inside. But then it starts moving. And we're just like, maybe this isn't the line to get inside because they're not opening the gates yet. I think we were in the merch line and that's why we were moving. Eventually we got out of the merch line and into an actual line. And we got really, really lucky with getting into the arena because they had gates before letting people in to where the metal detectors and the actual entrance was. And when they opened the gates, we were able to get in pretty early. So we were pretty close to the line. We were one of the first in that line to get into the arena. So we didn't have to wait for very long outside once they actually opened up the gates. So that was super, super nice. And as soon as we got inside, there was a merch booth right there. And there was like no one in line. And I wasn't super stressed about getting any tour merch because again, they weren't one of my top favorite groups. So I was not going to stress about getting anything, but it was right there. And there was no one in line. Like, I wanted a tour shirt, so the opportunity presented itself and I took it. We got in line. I got myself a shirt, which I'm actually wearing right now. I don't know if you could see it, but I got myself a shirt and I got myself a tote bag, which is also behind me. I don't know if you could see that, but I got myself the two things. I mainly got the tote bag so I could carry my stuff in it. I was able to put my freebies and my other bag in it and just carry that around. 10 out of 10 purchase. Best thing I could have bought in that whole day, I think. It was so convenient. Personally, I love getting tour shirts at all the concerts I go to. Just K-pop. I don't care about other concerts that I go to, but at K-pop concerts, I love getting the tour shirts. I get one every single time. I have some TXT ones and then Hypen ones. Now I got a StrayKids one. Like, I always need a t-shirt. Anyways, after we got in the venue, we got water, which was much needed. We were low-key dying. It was so hot outside. Some people were passing out. There was someone near our gate that passed out. I know that some people passed out the day before in the merch line, and I'm sure plenty of people also passed out the day of the concert just because of how brutally hot it was, and there was not a lot of shade, unless you were on the other side of the arena, apparently. But it was brutal. I'm not surprised that so many people passed out. Now, after seeing the DC show, I am so thankful that they didn't cancel ours because of the heat. But I think once we got in the venue and the sun started to go down, it did get a little better, although it was pretty hot still. After we got water together is when I split up from the group that I was with because, again, my seats were different. I had club level seats, and honestly, I had no idea what that meant. When I bought the tickets, I just saw the ticket and I was like, that's perfect. It was in the front row of that section and it wasn't too expensive in my opinion. So I was like, you know what, purchase. And I didn't think anything of it. But I had to go to the other side of the stadium from where we entered, and I had to go up these elevators to get to the club section. And then the elevators open and it's just this inside air conditioned little area, and it was so nice. They had tables where you could eat at. They had a little market where you could pick up food and drink at, and they also had like pretzels. They had another eating place with chicken tenders and burgers. They had a bar on each end of the club level, which I thought was funny. Oh, and they had bathrooms on each end, which was so nice. It was all in the air conditioned, and it was beautiful. I got another water because I needed it, and I also had a pretzel and a fruit cup. I have like dietary restrictions, so I can't mess up some chicken tenders like I would love to. So I stuck with the pretzel and the fruit cup because I needed to eat something before going outside again for the concert. I did go out and check my seat before eating inside just because I wanted to get some videos and pictures before, the concert started. And when I was inside eating, the lights dimmed and everyone is like, oh my god, it's about to start. So we all rush outside. And of course, I'm a little anxious because now I'm like, crap, what if I miss any part of the show? Because I have to wait for these people in front of me to like go down to their seats. And I still have like my pretzel in hand. I'm like, what do I do? Like, I was nervous, but it was fine. I got to my seat. I sat down, finished my delicious pretzel, and I still had some time before the concert even started. I don't know why I panicked, but it was fine. It was fine. For some reason, I got really anxious before the concert started, and as I was just sitting there waiting for it to start, I could just feel like the anxiety like in my chest. And I honestly don't know why I felt so anxious. I feel like I tend to feel anxious before concerts. Again, I don't know why, but once it started, I was fine. They finally came out and I was like giggling and I'm like, oh my goodness, like there they are. And it was such a good time. Oh my gosh, it was such a good time. One of my best concert experiences, I would say, I think. My top would be in Hypen that I saw 2 years ago, I think with the Fate tour. That was just a really good experience for me. And StrayKids would either be second or third, honestly. That was a really good experience. I really enjoyed it. Before I talk a little bit about the concert, I want to say that my bias before the concert was Han, and my record is IN. And my favorite songs for the concert were Cheese and Easy, which ironically they didn't do either of them, but whatever. And after the concert, my bias is still very strong. It is still Han, and my bias record is still IN. So those did not change. However, Hyunjin and Bangchan after the concert, yeah, that was crazy. Oh my gosh, it was so, oh my gosh, so good, man, so good. And and my favorite songs after the concert, I still love those two songs, but I also love District 9 and Truman as well. That was my first time hearing both of those songs at the concert, and oh my gosh, Han's vocals in, well, both songs, but Han's vocals in District 9 are so good. I feel like he's underrated as a singer and a rapper. Like, he's really, really talented. But I love both of those songs now and listen to them all the time, along with Cheese. I wish they played that song. That is one of my favorites right now. But District 9 and Truman are just so good. I can't believe I didn't hear them before. The actual concert itself was quite a production. They put a lot in. They had fireworks, lots of background dancers. They had this big blow up thing for one of the songs. I guess it was a giant. They have a song called Giant, and it was a giant blow up. And fire. They had lots of effects. The fireworks themselves were crazy. I got videos. They'll be in the vlog that I have from the actual concert day. But it was insane. It was very, very impressive. And despite it being so hot in Florida, they did a really good job. The concert was so, so good. And after it was over, I was so sad. But I met up with the same group. We took the shuttle back and we got back to the car. It took about an hour to get from the shuttle to the car because there was just so many people leaving at the same time. I mean, obviously, like, you kind of expect that when you're leaving a concert, so I wasn't stressed or anything about it. I finally get to my car, and it took me 30 minutes to get out of the parking garage. It was crazy. Oh my gosh. But it only took about 2 hours to get home. So I got home at 2:30 in the morning, but I didn't go to bed till like 4 in the morning because I was just so excited. And I took out all my freebies and like put them on the floor so I could look at what I got. And I could not sleep because I was just so excited. Like, I didn't want the day to be over. It was such a fun time. And I wish I could go back and relive it because concerts are just so fun, especially K-pop concerts. Like, you cannot tell me that there are better concerts out there than K-pop concerts. Like, I will never believe it because K-pop concerts do a production. Like, it's a showcase. It is not just a concert. It is a performance. Does that make sense? I hope so. It is a production. Period. So just kind of some ending thoughts about my overall experience. Like I said, I did go to the concert by myself. I did meet up with people, but my ticket was by itself. And I didn't mind. I've always wanted to go to a K-pop concert by myself just to kind of see what the experience was like. It's not bad. Once the concert actually starts, it really doesn't matter if you're with a big group of people or if you're by yourself. We're all there for the same reason. It's going to be a good time no matter what. Although I will say there were parts where I wished I had someone there with me to share the experience with. But overall, I don't mind going to a concert by myself. I'd rate it like an 8 out of 10. And Camping World Stadium, I give a 10 out of 10. They handled everything so well, and they actually let us bring in our waters into the venue, so they weren't forcing you to buy one. And just because it was so hot and people were passing out, they were like, we need to let them have the water. Thank God. I still bought 2 waters inside the venue, so they still got money. Like, I promise they got plenty of money from that concert. Like, it doesn't make a difference. But overall, I felt like the venue was really, really good. I didn't have anything blocking my view. I saw that about some other concert venues, and they had some complaints about netting, but Camping World didn't have any of that. But now the post-concert depression is so real, and I was not expecting it to hit this hard because, again, they weren't one of my top groups or anything, so, it's still hitting. Like, I am still just waiting for the next concert because concerts are just so fun. But yeah, the PCD is crazy. It took me so long to look at my concert videos and pictures after the fact because I just couldn't do it. But I have been listening and watching Stray Kids every single day since the concert. I listen to them in the car, when I'm at home. I watch music videos, dance practices, different interviews that they've had. So I've kind of like gotten back into Stray Kids. I don't know how long it'll last, but that always happens after a concert where you get so much more into the group after going to see them in person. And honestly, I love that part of it too. I feel like this concert experience was so good, and not that I fell out of listening to K-pop, but I feel like it just sparked my love even more and just made me love K-pop just so much more. I love the community, I love the idols, I love the music, I love everything about it. And like I already mentioned, the freebies for the concert, I love that aspect of K-pop concerts. And now I'm thinking about doing my own freebies when I go to concerts and handing them out. Although I'm not sure what I would like to do. I do like when people do the photo strips, like from photo booths. I think that would be pretty cool to make and hand out. But let me know if you have any ideas of what freebies you would like at a concert or ones that you think would be really cool to hand out. Alright, so that is everything about my experience, all my thoughts and feelings about the Stray Kids Dominate Tour stop in Orlando. So please stay tuned for more K-pop and dance vlogs coming up. I'm super excited. At this point, I'm just waiting for my next K-pop concert, which is going to be ATEEZ in a couple weeks. and then Jin the weekend after that, and then Enhypen in Houston in August. So there will be much more K-pop content to come, lots of vlogs, so stay tuned. Overall, I give this whole experience a 10 out of 10. So comment down below your favorite K-pop concert experience, and if you've never been to a K-pop concert, comment down below who you would love to see. Thank you so much for watching if you stayed till the end, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!